Before we start and tell you about what Disha is all about, and a good reference has been shared by Soumya as of now, let's look at certain statistics at this moment. So let's look at the first number. Can you guess what is this? And I think it's pretty straightforward. Population of India. Thank you so much. That helps. The next number on your screens. You can use the reference shared by Soumya and maybe that will give you the number. What is that? Students going to schools in India at this moment, yeah? So that's fair. Another number, a pretty big number again. Students going to government and government aided schools in India, which is almost every 6 out of 10 students is going to government. Now, who are these kids? These are kids of our house helps, our drivers, our security guards, our apartment complex, housekeeping staff, people around us, auto drivers, Uber drivers, all of those. Fine. So what is unique? And now comes another big number. It's a percentage. Yeah. This is the dropout after 10th and 12th. And that's huge. And what is the reason? So reasons, what we have done is, in last 3 years, we worked across 8 to 10 schools with 2,000 plus students, and there were similar patterns. The students kept telling us that they don't know what kind of careers exist, basically. They don't know how can they find the affordable colleges, what kind of scholarships exist. And they don't know what are the alternatives to the formal education. It's not that everybody has to take a college education. There should be vocational ITI skilling courses. So this is the lack of information these students had. And somewhere we need to give them that information in a way in which they can access it. And that's where the whole idea of Disha platform came up. Now, we are a non-profit with limited budgets, limited resources, and building a tech platform requires investment, which we definitely didn't have at that time. And that's where, over a WhatsApp discussion, I got connected with Sarika, who became our first product and tech advisor. And she came up and, kind of pushed us to stop thinking and start, planning and all, but building. And that's where we built our first prototype. And when we built the prototype, it was very easy. Let's go and take it to the students and find out, is it really something they're looking for? And the feedback was amazing. We even got a lot of feedbacks about the features, the kind of features that platform should have. And that's how we validated the platform. And that was a clarity moment for Pyfinity to understand that now we need to onboard volunteers, volunteers from senior tech community to come and help us. We hire interns and they guide them and they build architecture and design everything for these interns to work. I'm fortunate to have one of our interns who worked with us in this room today. So thanks, Nayan, for being here. And let's move forward. And that's how Disha came in, right? So what exactly is Disha? Disha basically provides 4 things to the students. It allows them to look at careers beyond the conventional careers. There are 8 to 10 careers which everybody knows. There are 152 plus we have. We are expanding on the list. In case you are confused, can you have a gamified interest quiz which can help you understand what direction you may take? And that's exactly what our next step basically talks about. Can you find a list of affordable colleges? Can you find the proper scholarships associated with your course and careers? Is what we are trying to bring out. And finally, what are the alternatives to the formal education? The ITIs, the vocationals, the learn and earn opportunities that are there. This week, we have launched Disha. And we will be taking it to first 50 students for the validation of, and start testing it with the students at the moment. And we are building, there are many more features that will be coming in. And now I would like to invite Rajesh to come and talk about how we build this.
So when we basically started on this journey and I met Sheetal, she had actually thought about everything and she had built the site in Villavable. So I thought my first job was actually to come and just host it in AWS. Then, as we started conversing about the different problem statements, interesting problem statements arose. Something as simple as login of how will students who don't have an email address log into the system? What phone numbers will they use? How will that happen? To basically, how will career journeys be defined? There were a lot of problems that we had to solve through this journey. Today, I talk about 2 main sets of problems. First one is personalization. We all think about personalization differently, and we think about personalization related to monetization. But here we were talking to students who are in different stages of their journey. Students who are in 8th and 9th who wanted to just explore and discover what is out there. Students who are in 11th and 12th who wanted to basically compare and decide. And students who are in 12th who wanted to actually apply to colleges, find out scholarships and find out avenues. So there was different cohorts which we had to cater to, and we had to make sure that the data that we surface to each cohort is relevant, and that was a very important aspect of it. And for that, we needed to understand user context. We needed to morph our pages so that when you are looking at a college as somebody who's discovering, it looks different. And somebody who's basically trying to apply for a scholarship, it is actually looking different. And finally, in India, you cannot do it without localization. And localization is a key. You need to reach the students in the language that they are very comfortable in. And given that this is a data platform and a lot of data that we collate, we had to make sure that all the data is translated as it is ingested and localized in so that we can be ready for the students when it is basically showcased. Now, the second problem is data, and data is crucial for any software nowadays. But here, it was very different. Our biggest challenge as we looked at it is like, okay, so where do we get this data of what are the careers, what are the colleges, which colleges are offering which courses, and how do we all ensure that this thing is kept up to date? So for a big part was just data collation and trying to manage the data. So we invested actually in a CMS system which focused on validating and collating the data itself. And we had basic crawlers which can go and find out latest informations in the web, through the web, so that we have the latest information of what are the new colleges that we are looking at, what are basically the new courses that the colleges are offering. The second thing was validation. For us to be a reliable website that students come again and again to, we needed to build trust. And how do you validate thousands of colleges that you have ingested, the hundreds of courses that you have, and the linkages to the careers that you basically have? And this is where we basically built an AI agent which can mimic and figure out if this specific college exists, if the information that we have about these colleges, the courses that they offer, it is actually there. And that's basically another layer that we focused on, which is the whole validation layer. And in the end, as we were expanding from city to city, and we are looking forward to expanding to different states, the operations and the operational aspect of this is very critical. And that is the third aspect with respect to data. We had to make this more seamless. We had to make sure that this could be operated by non-tech folks. And interestingly, this was an area which we learned the hard way. Initially, everything we could basically just run it on our machines, and we could basically say, "Acha, now the college data is there." But how do we make sure that it's available in the CMS system? How do we basically make it one click? Was the other aspect that was there. Now, what was our role, right? Our role was primary advisory. I think the thought and the brain was definitely Sheetal, and our role was how do we take the vision that she has, and convert it into product and tech architecture. So the role that we played primarily was more of a product manager, architects, sometimes an occasional developer. It was about 3 to 4 hours a week. And this is basically our contribution. And Amita will go through what actually takes behind the scenes and who actually does the work.
Um, yeah. So, like Rajesh was telling, Sheetal had this idea in her mind, and it was like mine and Rajesh's job to implement it and bring it onto the ground. So, which was a team who mainly helped us, to get this implemented. So, it was the team of Navgurukul. So, Navgurukul is a unique organization. So, what they're doing is basically they are taking students from the underserved communities, and who are generally like 12th pass outs, and they have designed a special curriculum around software engineering, which and they give them the technical know-how of how to build front end systems, how to build back end systems, and so on. So initially, when we started out with the interns from Navgurukul, our expectations were kind of low. Uh, but the team, they came up with like lots of technical know-how, and they brought in also a lot of contextual knowledge because they were living it, right? Almost like 4 out of the 6 people who are currently working with us are from the Navgurukul team. So now that we have the basic app built, and we are kind of getting it tested going forward. So the intention is once the schools restart in June, so the idea is to take this application to the government students, and we have implemented it in multilingual, so it is already there in Kannada. So the idea is basically to test it out with the students, see how they are going through it, like build up basic profiles, and then take it to the next level so that we can use that kind of information to see how we can take it to the build additional knowledge onto the app. Right. The other thing which we are also working on is a AI assisted chatbot, which will help these students continuously learn and improve on. Right. And the bigger idea is to build a community. This is where you people will come in. So to get basic experts, right, who can help these students from the underserved communities and help and mentor them. Right? So, yeah.
So you heard Govind, you heard us, and what is the key takeaway that we want you to have from this talk? All of you have built products. All of you built for scale. You know what it takes to make a good tech system and a good product. My call out to you folks is go find your impact space, find your passion, and make an impact. Thank you.